Today we're going to be talking about a few Rode products. We're starting off, and this video is going to be about the Rode handheld microphone and how that connects up to kind of a Rode wireless kit. Just give us a basic overview of what this microphone can do and which sort of audience it is for.
Absolutely. This is a dedicated interview microphone. It's designed specifically for exactly what we're doing now. So it would be a perfect candidate for that. And the principle behind this microphone is that in most cases where you're doing interviews, you have a very narrow pattern and you need to aim the microphone at whoever is speaking. And as silly as it might sound, this is not always a very easy reflex to master. You have to think about what you're doing. And so sometimes it's forgotten and the sound is severely affected by that. So the principle behind this microphone is that it's an omnidirectional microphone that has a 360-degree pattern and has a very close proximity range. So instead of having to do this, you could hold it in the middle and not think about it. You could just leave it there. And of course, if you had a flag that you wanted your company info on, you could have the flag on the microphone and you would never have to move it. So this is a very good quality microphone, very solid, backed by a 10-year warranty by Rode. And the perfect companion for this would be the Newsshooter system. The Newsshooter system is a system derived from our very popular Filmmaker, which I believe you use. So it has a wireless receiver that mounts onto your camera through the shoe mount here. It links up to your camera with the audio cable that's here. And then it pairs up with our very unique XLR transmitter, which also has a little plug for a lavalier. So if ever you're doing a gig and you need a lavalier, there's a little pouch, you can clip it onto your belt and you could use it with a lavalier mic. So what we do is we basically slip it onto any microphone, not just our own. And then we have a little locking ring here at the bottom, which allows us to lock it in place. Now I would turn it on. Unfortunately, we don't have batteries inside at the moment, but I promise it works and it works very well. So basically, this system is a digital system. It operates 2.4 gig range. And the reason we chose that is because it's license free. With regular wireless microphones, there are various laws in various countries that give you, that are restricted in some countries. Not every country does the same. Canada and the US usually share those regulations, but in other countries they don't. So we chose that band, and there's a lot of traffic in that band. So what we did is we developed a unique technology which basically sweeps the frequency band and makes sure that the system is always operating in the most optimal range, noise-free environment.
So if you don't mind, could you explain for our viewers who are kind of new and wanting to invest in a handheld microphone, there are different frequencies. You have the UHF frequency, and then you've been talking about the 2.4 gigahertz frequency.
Yes.
What are the issues that people find when they're using a UHF frequency, and then what are the advantages of using a 2.4 gigahertz?
The bottom line is UHF is old technology. It's still in use today because it's tried, tested, and true. I mean, you know, why fix the wheel if it works? But there are better, more advanced technologies today. And as with many things that are moving on to digital, there are certain benefits. The first benefit of using a digital frequency band is that it's license free. So like we mentioned before, you can use it anywhere. So if you take a trip and you're going to the Congo or Australia or New Zealand, wherever you go, you won't have a problem because it's a band, it's an open frequency band. The other reason that's interesting is that the battery use is substantially better. UHF systems use more battery in order to transmit the signal. With the typical wireless system, you would normally get somewhere in the vicinity of 4 to 5 hours, maybe up to 8 with the batteries on a UHF system. With our Filmmaker system, you can get up closer to 35 hours. And with this system as well, depending on whether or not you're using the phantom power, of course, that would affect the sound. But and then the other thing is the sound quality. Because we're using a digital transmission, I don't want to get too technical, but we don't need a compounder circuit. And a compounder circuit is something that is needed in UHF transmissions to eliminate noise. And what that does is it limits the dynamic range because it needs to cut out everything that's low volume. So with a digital system like this, you have an obscene amount of dynamic range and there's practically no noise. It sounds like a cable, and that's what a real good wireless should sound like. It should sound like a cable, but give you the freedom to move around.
Now, is there a difference because this, as you mentioned, has an XLR cable on the bottom?
Correct.
Is there a difference in terms of, like they say, balanced XLR and things like that? Is there a difference between using this as compared to using just a 3.5 kind of
Yes.
input?
Yes, in this application, however, it probably wouldn't matter very much. When we use a balanced signal, what we're doing is we're playing around with the, not the polarity. The way that it works is a little bit complicated, but basically what we're doing is we're creating a small ecosystem within the signal whereby we can eliminate noise. We're basically flipping the signal into two identical opposing signals and then sending it through the wire. And when we get to the other end, we analyze what's the same on both. And then anything that's the same has to be noise because they're opposed. And so we recombine the signal on the other end. That's usually used for long runs of cable or areas where there would be where there would be interference. In a case like this, where you have a very short cable, you won't have these kinds of problems. So it's not necessary to go to a balanced signal. But with a microphone like this, you could, for example, have a cable connected to a console that would be 100 feet long. And because it's designed to receive a balanced signal, it won't be a problem. With a 3.5 millimeter plug, it's a really very short cable. If we look at your system right here, you will never have this problem. You start having problems past about 20 feet of cable with these kinds of non-balanced signals.
Well, thanks for all that information. I hope that was helpful to all our viewers out there. Now, in the next video, we'll talk about the Rode Micro and the other two variations of the Rode Micro with Eric. So hopefully watch that video. And if you're looking to buy any of these products, we'll leave links for all the products in the description below. So you can easily purchase them here in Canada or in the States or wherever you are around the world. Thanks for watching the video with us, and we'll see you in the next one.